Greetings, beautiful spirits. Welcome to Free Your Mind Friday, where I engage in the act of self-forgiveness. So for me, it's like Forgive Myself Fridays. That's what it's about, y'all. That's all I'm gonna do every Friday. I was thinking about this. I was like, what if I spent every Friday doing a video forgiving myself about something? Self-forgiveness. I feel like, number one, if you can forgive yourself, then you can begin to forgive others. And the second thing I thought about is, I don't really spend enough time forgiving myself, which probably makes it hard for me to forgive others. And so why not give it time? And I thought about it, if I did it every Friday, right? I'm going to try to do it throughout the week, don't get me wrong. I am going to try to do it throughout the week. But if I did it every Friday, that's 52 times in a year. That's 52 things that I really get to just kind of be at peace with as it relates to myself. While there's 100 million other things that I will need to be at peace with. But I thought, this year is about taking small steps towards personal development, towards being more in alignment with what I really genuinely believe is spiritually. And so today is about Forgiveness Friday. Really, I call it Free Your Mind, and I think that forgiving myself really helps to free my mind. But it's about forgiving, and so I'm just gonna pick little. I don't know. I'm just gonna pick whatever comes to mind. The first thing first thing that came to mind to me when I got ready to do this video was, I really want to forgive myself for not graduating from the University of Detroit Mercy back in the late 1990s. And let me talk a little bit about this. I had moved to Detroit and I was living with my partner, and I started to attend University of Detroit Mercy. And mostly I went there because where we lived at was like a couple blocks from University of Detroit Mercy. And I was like, rain, sleet, snow, ice, whatever, I could get to school and finish up my degree. And at that time I was probably almost 30 years old. I was in, mid to late 20s. And I also was becoming more heavily involved in the LGBTQ plus community. And so I just decided, I'm going to University of Detroit. And then the woman was like, well, what do you want to major in? And I said I liked biology, and I like chemistry, and I like math. And so we decided on biochemistry as my major, with math as a dual major and or minor. So I went to University of Detroit Mercy. And actually, you guys, I was a 4.0 student. I was really great until the last semester. And a couple things were happening. I want to talk about it. Ooh, to be honest about this, is really hard for me. So I got into my last semester. Mind you, I was a great student. I was part of the chemistry club. I had won undergraduate research awards. I was on my A game. I was on either doing an MD, PhD program, or definitely going to medical school, or definitely going to graduate school. I had options, and I had people from major universities across this country calling me saying, what you gonna do? Now you have to understand too, I had kids. And so I was struggling with, my twins were mostly with my mother, but the baby, he was with me. And I was still trying to integrate them into my life and be a good mother and be a good community activist and be a good student. Because I'm all about, and let's just be for real, I'm like all about my A game. But in that towards the last semester, I started having really big issues in my relationship, and they really got me down. They really got me depressed, and it was hard for me to focus. And I hadn't been in a long term. I hadn't even been in a relationship really like that before. And so I was really surprised that I was having this experience and that I was all of a sudden depressed. Like I didn't know that I could feel depressed like that. Honestly, I just hadn't experienced it like that, and didn't know that a relationship could do that to me. Or the dysfunction of a relationship, or the kind of ending of a relationship could do that to me. And then the second thing that happened, and I want to say this about my mother, who's amazing and wonderful, and she's a dynamic woman, and I love her to death. And what happened was, I said, look, I'm about to graduate. And she said to me, I'll believe it when I see it. She was like, prove it to me. It was kind of like a prove it to me. I'll believe it when I see it. And she's right, because I had attended a couple other universities before and had not followed through. So when I came to her this time, and I also was on the short list to be valedictorian, and probably would have been valedictorian had I accepted. But I started to feel depressed, and I felt rejected. I took my mother's kind of response to my graduation horribly. And I think I took it horribly because it just was a horrible thing to say. And it's not to say she's a bad person, but at the moment it just felt horrible because I was like, oh, I worked my butt off to get to this point, and here she is like doubting the fact that I would even graduate. And then also my relationship was going really horribly. And so what ended up happening was I couldn't focus. I couldn't get myself together. And for the first time ever, you got to understand I was a 4.0 student. I was going to get like a D in a class. Now that did not mean I was not going to graduate, but I thought it was. And so as a result, I kind of gave up. I just said, forget it. I'm never going to graduate. I'm never going to go to medical school. I'm never going to be anybody in my life. And so I just kind of bailed and just didn't even I didn't finish any of my classes, which invariably I end up failing, not because I didn't try, but because I didn't try. No, I did not try because I was in my feelings. And it would take me another, I hate to say it would take me another 10 to 15 years before I ended up having to go to another university, who would end up accepting all those credits from University of Detroit Mercy and allowed me to take, I think it was 3 classes that I took at this school, and it was Eastern Michigan University, if you want to know, and they allowed me to graduate with my degree, and even though I hadn't really taken many classes there. And so I want to always say that I always feel like every now and then I get a little down, and I think about, wow, you were a 4.0 student, you were a scholar, you were involved in I was in the chemistry club, I had won this undergraduate research award, I had gone on UROPs, meaning that I had done undergraduate research opportunities at major universities across this country. In the summertime, I was a badass, you know what I mean? And I knew me some biochemistry, and I've always been mathematically inclined, so that was not a big deal to me. But I really, I wanted to spend this Friday forgiving myself for not graduating, because I always want to beat myself up about this. I always want to say, why would you have gotten so close to have not just finished, you know what I mean? And I want to say to all the people that were around me at the time that were trying to support me and trying to lift me up and trying to get me to move and say, girl, you got this, stop tripping. I want to thank you because, and I know I didn't listen because I'm hard-headed. I tell people this. Fundamentally, one thing about me is I'm hard-headed as hell. And, but I always beat myself up about that. I always feel like you're always self-sabotage. You ain't about shit. You ain't gonna never be about nothing. I really kind of took that moment and I just let it be something that I held over my own head all my life. So every time things I was like, yep, see, that's why shit don't work out, because that's what your ass does. You always self-sabotage and you always quit at the end. You always get depressed about bullshit stuff. I'm always saying that stuff to myself. And I want to say today that I forgive you, baby. I forgive you. I forgive you because you were only doing your best. You were doing your best. That was the best that you could do. And you were hurt. You were hurt because your relationship was deteriorating. You were hurt because I think that in that moment, when I was so close to success, I think I needed my mother to say, good job, baby, good job. But because of my own past actions, she was like, prove it to me, you know what I mean? And I'm no hate, no shade, no nothing to my mother. She's a wonderful person. And I now, looking back, understand why she said what she needed to say. But it still hurt. And I forgive you I forgive you for giving up on yourself, because I understand that your hurt overwhelmed you to the point where you felt like you just needed to stop. And I forgive you from the standpoint that you did the very best that you could do given what you knew at the time. I tell people, if I had the spiritual understanding I had now, then those things would have not torn me down, would have not caused me to stop, would have not gotten in the way of me continuing on. And I also sometimes fundamentally believe that everything happens for a reason. I don't know if I would be sitting up in front of you here today talking about Free Your Mind Friday and self-forgiveness had things went on as planned. I don't know. But I forgive you because, baby, you just did the best that you could do. And hurt is real. And you connected to that hurt in a way that really made you paralyzed, made you feel unworthy, made you stop doing what it is you thought you needed to do. But it is no measure. What I want to say to Charlotte is that it is no measure and doesn't define you. It doesn't define you, baby. You're still a brilliant biochemist. The fact that you didn't have 3 classes for over 15 years don't mean nothing. You know what I mean? And it is not a reason to feel as if you are not capable. It is not a reason for you to feel not lovable, and that it's okay. And I want to say to myself is that you are right where you belong, and that you are perfect, whole, and complete, and that everything happens for a reason, and you are here in spite of that choice, right, babe? You are here, that you are alive, and you are well, and you are better than you've could ever be. And so, today I'm about let's just forgive myself for not graduating from University of Troy Mercy back in the late 1990s. That's okay. It's all good. It's all good. What are you gonna free? How are you gonna free your mind today, fam? What is it that you're gonna forgive yourself for on this Friday? Share with me in the description box below. I would love to hear from you. Take care now, fam. Peace and love.